So judging from this, I would say that her family liked, you know, they love beautiful, the brick pavers, the old look, lights similar to these, trees, and they had a thing for trains. You know, that certain position helped put food on their tables. The train also meant that they were able to get their wares and things like that, things that they shopped for. It helped move things through the town and down toward Atlanta. I don't know how far out past Elberton the train went, but this is just an old caboose. If you ever come visit Granda, or come visit all of us, if you remind me, I'd be more than happy to take you up here to this old caboose. You can actually walk up it. Here's a wheel. The wheel doesn't turn though. Well, I know it did. So there's an old wheel. You can't really peep in because they have like a piece of plexiglass there. And looking down, I'm being very careful here. These are steep, but these are the actual steps that would come down off that caboose. Now the geocache that we're looking for is somewhere under this caboose. And again, at Christmas, this place is seriously magical for a small town. I know that some of you all live in larger cities. I can only imagine what the lights are like, say, in New York City at Christmas. But this is more the charm that you feel of a small town. Truly something you would imagine seeing in a Hallmark movie. I know I keep mentioning Hallmark, but Lifetime used to be my thing. But they started getting a little bit intense, so to speak. So this over here is the JR Pavilion. And if you notice, Burel is spelled with one L. So it might make you question, well, how is my mother or grandmother related to these people when they have a different spelling on their name? That indeed is an interesting story. And I'm going to sit over here and catch my breath for just a second while I tell you. I'm actually sitting down at one of these tables. So, Burel added the extra L, the only person in the family that did it. And it kind of messes up our family tree when you're looking at the family tree, because all of the Burels in Mother's history are B-U-R-E-L. If you see someone with an R-R-E-L, then that would make that person probably some distant cousin going all the way back over to England and France. But for the B-U-R-E-L, that is the stem in which the American ones here in America came from. Now, Emery Burel was an interesting man. He came to town, to Elberton, to work for Granda's, his wife, well, for Granda's mother, which would be his future wife, whose grandmother had had some word put out in some of the local trading places that she really needed a helper on the farm. At that time, as you know, they didn't have slaves anymore. The people that they had used to be slaves. A lot of them were offered real jobs with real pay. and it was kind of hard to get work on the farms. But because of that ad that was taken out, that is how you, me, and everyone listening to this video had some part of how you came to be. Emery Burel went to work for Eva Cordell and helped her run a farm. Helping her run that farm meant that he got to meet, I'm sorry, not Eva Burel. Eva Burel's getting married. Going to work on that farm, he got to meet Eva Burel, who was the daughter of her mother, okay? And Emery came from a really nice family. As you can see, this land right here was owned by his father's brother. Now there's another father's brother who owned even more land than this, which, by the way, R.H. Burel had not just what you see here. He owned a lot of land, acres and acres, in this town called Auburn. Now, Mother has another uncle, which was one of her father's brother, named Lewis. Lewis owns one of the wealthiest areas in Gwinnett County called Hamilton Mill. The land that came to be to build an area called Hamilton Mill. The homes in there, you know, they're $1 million and up. That land came from the sale of Lewis Burel's family. So that is, you know, where she's coming from on her father's side. Well, her mother was a Cordell, and she was a wonderful, sweet lady and very Christian. So Emery became to be very fond of Eva when he was working on the farm. And they got to where they would ride into town sometimes on a horse and buggy, and he would also go to church with the family. Well, she kind of had a crush on him, and one night she was asking him, you know, hey, what's that you got right there? Because he was holding something in his hand. And he said, it's a mirror. And she said, it's a mirror, let me see. And mirrors back then were not the most common or popular thing to have. I mean, some people had them, some people didn't. So she wanted to look at herself and see herself in the mirror. He handed it to her, and she was looking in there, and then she sat it down in her lap, and she said, so what's this for? You know, not a lot of guys carried mirrors with them. And he said, well, I'm going to give it to my future wife. And she said, future wife? And they really hadn't even had any date or anything, you know, nothing formal. He says, yes, it's something I got to give to my future wife. So she didn't know he meant her. And she said, wow, well, I would like to meet your future wife. And he said, oh, look in that mirror again. I want to show you something. So she held the mirror up. She was looking at it. And he said, that's her. That's my future wife. You're looking right at her. Needless to say, that's a wonderful love story to pass down for our family from Mother. And so we're going back to this name change. And I'll walk over here and I'll show you another name with the original Burel. So what happened here is Cordell is spelled C-O-R-D-E-L-L. Burel is B-U-R-E-L. So Mother naturally had this Emery Burel guy wrapped around her finger. And so she asked him, when we get married, can we incorporate our names together and add the extra L for C-O-R-D-E-L-L, combine our names and have Burel with 2 L's. And that, my friend, is the start of how our part and all of Mother's brothers and sisters and cousins and everything else we have, great cousins, that is the start of how it came to be. The mixture of the Cordell and the Burel. Now this park is beautiful. It's really beautiful any time of the year. There's a lot of greenery. If you see the most beautiful blue Georgia skies back there. I am very proud of our southern heritage that we have. And that heritage flows through all of our veins. No matter how many times they've been mixed with other people. You know, it could be someone from Alaska or whatever. But we still have a little bit of what makes the South, the sweet South, in every single one of us. Mother, I'm so thankful that you were born in the South. They have a saying about girls raised in the South, and that's GRITS. You know, G-R-I-T-S stands for Girls Raised in the South. Now this is a neat fixture. All of the Burels, Mother tells me, love to read. So they have a free book tree thing here, which I have actually taken some books from. And you can either return them or pass them on to someone else, or you can donate old books. So here's some books that actually happen to be in here right now for the moment. I return equally as many books as I take out, sometimes a few extra. All right, so there's the chess set, the caboose, the book tree, the park, the pavilion back there, the train, which still comes through. That train comes through and it has the loudest horn, I think. All right, this is me doing this for all of you because I love you. Mother, I especially hope that you enjoy this little tribute that I made about this park regarding your family. Love you.